So you may have heard of Fidelity before. Well, here's something shocking that's happening this week as Fidelity is rumored to make a huge crypto move very, very soon. Now, this is all on the heels of some other huge companies like BlackRock and, of course, Grayscale, who recently got into crypto as well. Fidelity has been testing the waters with crypto for a while now, but they're taking things to the next level, or at least potentially here, as they're planning to launch perhaps a new Bitcoin ETF, or they could be getting ready to take over a current Bitcoin ETF. Well, kind of, maybe a trust. We're going to talk about the differences there as well. But this is very, very shocking, and to some, actually to most, it's pretty bullish. Now, to some, they kind of feel it as a threat to decentralization. We're going to talk about both sides of the coin here in this video and talk about what it means for us as crypto investors. But they are rumored to make a big move here soon, and the asset management firm described itself as very crypto curious right now, having mined Bitcoin since 2014. By 2018, it launched a separate crypto dedicated business, which they titled Fidelity Digital Assets, which has since received a New York trust charter and launched its European operations just 3 short years ago in 2020. Now, rumors suggesting now that Fidelity, the world's third largest asset manager, okay, they manage $4.24 trillion right now, currently, under management. They may be considering either a buyout of Grayscale or an application for their own Bitcoin spot ETF. Now, Grayscale burst on the scene and getting into Bitcoin last year, but they don't have the same spot ETF that BlackRock is going for. Of course, that news just came out last week. We're going to dive into that later on in the video. Parrish also speculated that with the potential moves and other recent events, BlackRock and Fidelity could dominate the U.S. crypto asset space. This is Andrew Parrish, co-founder of Arc Public, talking about the big moves in the industry. Now, in terms of Grayscale, Grayscale operates 17 crypto trusts comprised of single and multi-asset funds. Largest assets under management is their GBDC Bitcoin Trust at $16.5 billion. Now, Grayscale Trust products allow accredited investors exposure to the underlying crypto assets via shares in the trust. Like an ETF product, Grayscale Trusts have SEC reporting requirements providing strong investor protection. However, there is a critical difference here. Okay, the critical difference is that a spot Bitcoin ETF actually allows for redemption in Bitcoin, something the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust just cannot offer. Now, Grayscale has been attempting to convert their GBTC to a spot Bitcoin ETF essentially since the beginning, right? However, the SEC has denied the conversion, leading to Grayscale suing the agency just last June. But now it's interesting because BlackRock is applying for the same thing that Grayscale is trying to shift to. Now, watch what happens here. If BlackRock gets it, we know the government's plan all along. They wanted BlackRock to be in control. And now, with Fidelity coming in, if they were to overtake Grayscale and get the spot ETF, Fidelity and BlackRock, two of the largest asset firms in the country, in the world, they would run Bitcoin. And wouldn't that be exactly how a lot of the people at the top want it to play out? So, moving on. BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager, submitted a Bitcoin spot ETF just last week, 5 days ago on June 15th. The move was generally seen as positive in the cryptocurrency space, including a bullish price driver and its legitimacy in the industry. And I think the positives do outweigh the negatives here, but I understand both sides. There are still questions that remain about the likelihood of the application's success and what BlackRock's motives are. Decentralization advocate Chris Bleck also warned of a possible Bitcoin proof-of-stake fork as a potential outcome. But, as I mentioned, I do think the positives outweigh the negatives here, considering that only 5% right now of the entire world are in crypto. And when you look at Bitcoin in particular, if you're invested in Bitcoin today, you want the likes of BlackRock and Fidelity to get involved to bring in trillions of dollars into an asset that you're already in before all the suits are in, right? because that's what it's all about. It's about being early. So money can still be made regardless of how this shakes out. But I understand both sides of it. I understand why people want the decentralization side. They don't want the big companies' hands on it. I get it, but it's kind of a double-edged sword, right? Because you need the big companies to get institutional adoption, to get widespread adoption across the board. So we'll be keeping tabs on this to see kind of how this shakes out. And BlackRock, again, applying for that spot Bitcoin ETF on June 15th. It'll be interesting to see what we learn out of that. And now Fidelity, big rumors coming out. We'll see. Do they end up overtaking Grayscale, buying them out, or do they just go ahead and do their own and apply for their own Bitcoin spot ETF? We'll see. We'll see what happens. Appreciate you guys as always. Let me know what you guys are thinking on this down below. We'll see you in the next video.